Hello, hello, hello. How's it going? Hope everyone had a decent start to their day. Mine wasn't too bad. Took a little nap. My wife made us a nice warm lunch. We went out to get some coffee. It's been good. 7 a.m. stream, kinda insane, by the way. Honestly, personally speaking, I'm kind of digging it. Like, regardless of the practicality of the stream itself, it's kind of nice in some odd way. It's very peaceful. I think that's what I like about it. It's very peaceful. You know, no cam, just chilling. Let me get the lights on. It's still really dark. It's so bright outside. Hold on a second. Let me just tweak in the camera here. Oops, that's not what I wanted. There we go. All right, we're gonna be jumping into the game here, but before we do, the patch is out, the notes are out. The notes are much longer than the blog post they had, so skim through it real quick. Honestly, I think it was pretty promising. Kickoff pick'ems, I'll probably do them once it's closer. It's still a month out. Like, I know the brackets just came out, but I think I have a couple. I'm debating what I want to cover from SVL for a video this week, but we'll get a video out this week for Valorant for sure. But the kickoff pick'ems itself, I'll probably do once it's closer. We can talk about it though. Boom is toasted. It's a rough matchup, right? It's one of the new favorites versus versus Boom. But hey, I mean, no better way to prove themselves, I guess. Yeah, no, this, but a lot of this patch note is like a lot of bug fixes, and then they actually tinkered with a lot of spells, like skills. I don't know what half of these are. But anyway, let's see here. Yeah, so this is like what most of the blog post was covering, which is like the checkpoint TPs, which I'm kind of curious how that works. The thing about checkpoint TPs is that once you leave that zone, you probably can't TP into the checkpoint, right? So I'm curious how that's going to work. Passive point respecing is cheaper. That's always nice. I don't know exactly what this means. Advanced information. Oh, right, because right now it only shows the cooldown. But I guess if you right click it now, it brings up the whole window. Gotcha. Compare flash for a gamepad. That's nice. Chant shards. Okay, that's good. Button to travel to your guild hideout. Okay. G got the most easy route possible. GE, hold on. GE's was okay. It's, well, yeah, anyone, you know what, this is why I hesitated. You know what I was really thinking was, I was like, my god, just how many steps ahead was Frost when they were gunning for their bracket in stage 2 this year, right? Gets him a more plausible bracket to go to champions, gets to go to champions, and now he gets the easiest bracket for any of the bye teams as well, right? No T1, no DFMRQ. You get a seeded bye, no Nongshim. It's GE or Team Secret. Pretty known value. Well, Team Secret is a known value, and GE is a pretty unstable value. But I would say, like, any of these three teams, they have a decent shot. I am curious, like, you're going to assume T1's moving up. I wonder who they think would be more, like, what these three teams think about their potential opponent, like Paper X or T1. I don't know. Paper X, I think, is going to look very good at kickoff. And then, freaking this bracket, man, they just can't catch a break, man. RQ and Gen G, and now DFM is like a pretty, I would say, medium weight hitter. I think this side of the bracket could be very exciting as well. I got big hopes for Nongshim. But yeah, at least it's a full double elim, so that's cool. Anyway, so that's that. Endgame and monster balance. Yeah, so the resistances have been buffed for the later tiers. That doesn't really apply to any of us yet on this channel, but soon, TM. Monsters now do less crit. It sounds like this is just overall in the entire game. Which that's an insane nerf, by the way. Or buff, I guess. Buff for the player, nerf for the monsters. I assume it says less bonus damage, so I assume if the crit was doing like 150, it's now doing... Oh, yeah, I don't know. Is it doing 110 or is it doing 130? Either way, though, like, for this to go through across the entire game, it's kind of insane, because they specify when it's just endgame. Must have been a pretty big miss on the calculations. Yeah, ground deals less damage. A lot of like the kind of AoE hard to deal with, like things that are just constantly annoying you mechanics, like ground lasers, floating orbs. They basically do less damage. Burning ground doesn't get worse as you get to higher tier warstones. That sounds good. Siphon flask is a lot better, and this was actually unintentional, so they're fixing that. That's a bug. No more volatile crystals, so you know, if you hated that, now's your time until they bring it back. The Trail of Fire doing less. Trail of Fire was killing me too. Yeah, like all these trails are now much better. Dude, Trail of Ice only 4 seconds now. That's huge. They used to last forever. Baseline density for breach is nerfed. I might want to try those again. Runes, Trial of Chaos modifier are now smaller. Take longer to charge up. Gotcha. Blackjaw hitboxes. Yeah, this boss was kind of janky. Oh yeah, dude, these guys, the decrepit mercenary monsters that shoot fire bolts, they used to nuke you. Now they do less damage. Does every class look broken at the very top end game, by the way? Well, I think Stormweavers are currently... I think they're the easiest to reach the power fantasy. That's what it seems like. So I think Stormweavers like that. But I've seen crazy Invoker builds. I've seen crazy Merc builds. Even Warrior, I've seen crazy builds. But I think everyone who's playing it like agrees it takes more effort to get there. Like, I think that's the difference. But I saw a crazy like totem summons warrior warbringer build. But I think that's the thing about PoE, and I think what people are complaining about right now, which again I think is slightly early. It could be true, but I think it's just early. Is that there were multiple ways to reach those power fantasies for all different classes, and that's like the whole point of PoE. And people feel that maybe it's not as balanced in PoE2. But personally, I do think it's okay to have certain classes that are like easier to reach the power fantasy, or it's like more apparent, it's like simpler. I think that's fine. I don't think that necessarily makes the other class worse. So I don't know. I don't have a problem with that. I mean, if it gets out of control, that's when you know it's OP, right? If it's like, well, now it feels like it's useless to play any other class, then it's bad. But if it's like, you know, I really like melee, and yeah, you know, the mid game might be harder, but it's got these other benefits in the late game then. Trial of the Secondus improvements. Let's see if this helps us a little bit. Basically, honor is buffed, close range is buffed. And then, dude, look at all these skill changes. Man, they kept these under wraps. They, like, mentioned, like, 2 or 3 of them in the blog post. Rolling Slam, Ice Shot, Electrocuting Arrow, Barrage, Shock Chain, Sniper's Mark, Combat Frenzy, Stormcaller Arrows Bow, Vine Arrow, Tornado Shot, Magnetic Salvo, Unearth, Bone Storm, Bone Cage, Bone Blast, Power Siphon, Essence String, Contagion, Profane Ritual, Chaos Bolt, Bone Cage, Skeleton Arsonist, Bone Offer. I mean, dude, it's like every skill got tweaked one way or another. This is actually crazy. After 1 week of data, they must have really crunched a lot. Yeah, some are nerfs, some are buffs. I am curious. Wait. Siege Cascade now has an attack time of 75%. Oh? Oh my gosh, Siege Cascade got buffed! Dude, we just figured out how to use it well. Against immobilized enemies. We're not using that part, but... More damage. The explosion does more damage. Dude, faster reload. Oh, the quality is immobilized, so we might have to tweak how that works. Dude, Siege Cascade got buffed? Oh, we're feasting. The 3.5 meter radius is actually a nice buff. This should now cover the entire circle ice wall. I'm curious about this too. Stormblast bolts. Now you can have up to 30 active bolts. I'm curious how that looks. And then Plasma Blast. I think this buff is nice because otherwise it almost felt necessary to have to run Ice Wall, and it was kind of getting weird. Like the charge up time is already so long, you kind of want the initial damage of the ray gun itself to be worth it. Artillery Ballista getting buffed is kind of nice. I'm kind of curious. Dude, what is Vine Arrow, by the way? I see everyone talking about this. Yo, Popo on YouTube, what's up? Who do you think will make it to Masters Bangkok? We'll do our kickoff video once it's closer, maybe like in 2 weeks' time, like maybe in the first week of January. But it's tough. I mean, okay, candidates that I'm looking at: Paper X T1, Talon, Genji. Well, that's going to be half the league. Paper X T1, Talon, Genji, RQ, DRX, Nongshim. That's literally half the league. But I would say out of those, I would say like I think everyone agrees, right? Like Paper X T1, Genji, DRX, I think are like you're like 100% getting at least one of those 4, but most likely 2 of those 4. But then I would say like Talon, Nongshim, RQ for me, like in that kind of relative order. Or maybe like Nongshim, Talon, RQ actually have a pretty good shot, also based on the bracket. So well, I think Talon, yeah, Talon has a lot to prove still. Like it's in some ways it's kind of unfair, but in some ways it's exactly fair. Man, you don't think Paper X? I think Paper X is actually pretty likely. I'm pretty big on Paper X for kickoff. Vine Arrow is the one that makes those plants flowers on the ground that just dot on its own while it's alive. Oh, it spawns flowers. Tornado Shot, I know, because I thought I tried it with the crossbow. Well, yeah, basically, dude, they tweaked like almost every single main skill, and then they changed Electrocute, I never got to tinker with it too much, but they're like balancing things as much as possible, right? Like it's harder to build up, but the damage penalty is gone. New cluster on the passive tree. Curious about where this is. Hunter's Talisman. Let's check that out. Dude, I mean, it's a big patch. I think that's the promising part, is that they are clearly crunching data. Not all of this is going to be 100% accurate, but there's also like a lot of these changes seem pretty big. So I think while I didn't necessarily agree with a lot of the complaints or feedback, I think a lot of these seeming to be fairly sweeping changes, right? It's not like a 10% difference, right? It's like 20%, 30%, like double, whatever. I think that should be the sign that, like, okay, they hear you, right? And they're seeing certain patterns actually add up. They added 2 new support gems, one for minions and one for aftershocks. Exposure now no longer penalizes, so I might look into that. So electrocute now, you can't electrocute and shock through one skill. Which, yeah, it seemed pretty... I like this change because I originally wasn't even looking at electrocute, but once I realized what it was, it did feel like you were dumb if you were going for a shock build but without electrocute, right? And I think that's... And I agree with their philosophy that if it feels like, well, you're just an idiot if you don't do this at all, like, it's not that you're like a creative visionary, it's like, well, you're an idiot, then that's not good balance. Like, that's when you know something's OP, too OP. So I'm glad that they separated that. But yeah, dude, lacerate, 50% chance to bleed. It's kind of... I'm interested in why this happened, because you can't stack bleed right now anyway, if I'm not mistaken. But I guess this makes it better for like 1 or 2 shot, 2-hit skills. Like the most I had used it on when I was leveling was my auto fire, like AR mode, but then it doesn't really matter if it's 30 or 50%. But now, like, you could do it for like 1 or 2 hit skills in your cycle and have a good chance. So that's actually not bad. Dude, and Venom is lower. Dude, Poison's too strong, so I'm fine with that. Impact Shockwave has an aftershock that's bigger. Baiting support. Yeah, okay, so those are... The baiting support's a new one. I don't know what this one is, but it seems like it's a spell one, so it doesn't impact us. Aftershock now has 25% chance. It's buffed. Mobility support. I like this change, right? It does seem like they also agree that maybe some of the downsides were too harsh, or at least it's like too convoluted. So I like that. I do wish they separate these into buff nerf lists, though. Yeah, I guess so. But it's like... But then are you going to do, like, support gems and then buffs and then nerfs? But actually, you know what? I'm kind of glad they don't. Because some of it, it's like... It's hard to tell if it's a buff or a nerf immediately, right? Like, for instance, is this a buff or a nerf? It no longer penalizes... You don't lose damage, but now the mana cost is higher. So then you would need a third category that's like balance. And the reason I like it is they have the whole argument that they don't want the game to tell you what something is. Like, that's why they don't want in-game auction houses. That's their argument. Whether you agree with it or not is a totally different question. I actually agree with it quite a bit. But so I'm okay with them not saying buff or nerf. I know it makes it complicated to read through it, but hey, how else are YouTubers gonna make money, right? They gotta read you the patch notes and tell you what's what. You know, what else am I gonna do for the first 30 minutes of my stream? Let's see. Execrate now has 100% chance. Okay, I gotta look at that support gem again because I saw this in the patch notes. 100% up from 50. 100%. I mean, I assume they still have a. It still applies to their resist, right? But like, that's insane. Ricochet is higher as well. That's huge, dude. 40% is a world of a difference from 20. Withering Touch is stronger now. Ferocity, I don't use charges, but that seems pretty good. Wild Shards to fire projectiles in a circle instead of a spiral pattern. Ooh, I was curious what the support gem does, but okay. I guess before it was like you would like shoot it in a row, whereas now I guess it probably simultaneously fires in a circle. Decaying Hex, Stomping Ground. Item balance belts. Now we'll have more charm slots, level 64 onwards. There's a unique. And then there's a ton of bug fixes. Which I think this is actually a pretty important list, but I can't be bothered. Because there was one where like I didn't realize it was a bug and I had definitely used it. Where is it? I saw someone quote it on Reddit. Oh, here we go. Explosion from the armor explosion support can trigger itself recursively. I'm pretty sure I used this quite liberally during the campaign, and I just thought that's how it was supposed to work. So you definitely want to maybe check out some of this, but yeah. No, this is exciting. I mean, unfortunately, I haven't tried most of the other classes, so I can't really speak to the other changes, but dude, Siege Cascade being buffed is sick. All right. I wanted to check Execrate. Oh, did I end up never... Oh, maybe I have it equipped, actually. No, I never ended up making it. Oh, 100% more chance. Yeah, this is an interesting one. It is an interesting one. That's a huge buff, though. That's a huge buff. Okay. Let's do a lower level run real quick of the trial. Get some more relics. See where we go from there. And then let's and then let's try to ideally get... Oh, did I change my boots? Okay, so I put on these non-move speed boots. But look at how good it is. Cold, lightning, and chaos resistance, all 20 or higher. High armor. Ah, man, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if I can live with it, but I'm kind of curious. Do I have any? I think I sold all my relic ones. I never really thought about potentially farming for relics. Yeah.
This better be worth it.
I guess I could check out the shock bolt artillery thing. So slow. Oh my god, even slower. So which trial do people prefer? That's a good question. I don't know. I've seen complaints about both, quite frankly. Like, pretty equally. But I think, generally speaking, people like. I think this one, the Second trial, is
in the desert.
Generally more feasible. Even less movement speed. Just because, like, you can farm relics and whatnot. Because I think that one, it's literally just each run, like, best of luck that you don't get crappy debuffs, right? This is the room that I said I wish the tower would be like. Oh, like the crystal room, that one, like the timer. Oh my god. But I think if you have a good like AoE clearing build, I think the jungle one is fine too. The chaos. I think chaos is fine too. I don't know. I kind of want to go back and do chaos, but that one I need a even higher level one to get my third ascendancy. So. Yeah, actually having like an obstacle course or a timer run, something like that for the Lost Tower endgame could be pretty good too. It's not a bad idea. Honestly, when I'm doing these, I probably should just take the move speed boots.
A moment of respite.
Of a respite. Afflictions are unknown. Ooh, keys. The keys are kind of nice though for more relics. But I do want to actually beat it. Oh. Also, wait, I wanted to test one more thing. Remind me to go test like Act 1 or Act 2 on this character. There's something I want to test in terms of skill gems. Oh, what the? Blind him! Can we get them out of the way? Ah! Okay. No poison. Ooh, Valorb. Here? We take that. We take those. It's not quite sure how you're supposed to use like Valorbs and stuff for the Waystones. I guess you just put it on the Waystone, like you just apply it? I'm not sure.
A moment of respite.
Okay, we can get to the merchant. That sounds good. Dude, all I'm getting are gauntlets. I wasn't even looking, to be fair. That's on me. Dude, shouldn't monsters also die to traps? Like, how is that fair? What lore makes them immune? Actually, you could probably make something up that makes sense there. Something, they were born in it. Ah! So if I get sick of and or frustrated of the end game here, I think we're gonna try a new character, and I'm torn. I'm split between first of all, in terms of classes, I'm split between like a sorceress, so chronomancer, going for chronomancer, or monk, or maybe just picking up on the warbringer. So I'm torn there. And then depending on which, I might want to try hardcore SSF. So not use any of the like goodies that I picked up and relayed down. Where am I going? Where's the exit here? Also, did you know, I didn't know this. PoE players probably know this, and they probably laugh about it, about new players not knowing this. Did you know different body armors have different move speed debuffs? Like pure strength body armor is has more or like less move speed than Dex Int, supposedly, but that's like not listed anywhere in the game. It's just like an implicit thing that you should have known, just because the strength ones are like clearly designed with metal, whereas the other ones aren't. I didn't know this. Supposedly it applies in POE2 as well, but no one seems to have the numbers. Wait, dude, where am I? Why am I suddenly so lost here? Yeah, apparently that's a thing. Well, it's like definitely a thing in POE1, and supposedly it is a thing in POE2 as well. Oh, that's a good question, actually. Let's look it up. I just assumed, because they said body armor, I just assumed the chest piece, but that could have been a wrong assumption on my end. But like, if that is the case, then I do think I would want to go mostly for Dex evasion armors, right? And I'll just get my strength elsewhere. Especially since I have iron reflexes, like that would be the play. So once you think about it, it kind of makes sense, right? Like, oh, like the pure strength ones are like all full metal, whereas, you know, like int ones are like cloth and leather. So like, yeah, I get it, but like usually then games call them like light, medium, heavy, and they tell you. So that I thought was kind of bonkers. Like, I'm all for certain things just like being part of the mechanic and you like figuring it out. Like I'm cool with that. You know, I don't want like baby hand holding. But like move speed is a pretty important stat to not list anywhere. Like you don't have to have it shouting in your face. I don't like that, right? Because then the UI, it feels like I'm doing a reading simulator than a game. But like at least having a question mark or something somewhere. Which I think they can utilize like the like hidden question mark tabs a bit more, but I don't know. Maybe that's another part of like a design philosophy that they don't enjoy. Not quite sure. But yeah, isn't that crazy? I like randomly found that out reading stuff up yesterday. It was insane.
Greetings.
You got any relics for me? No relics? Wow. This is a crappy inventory.
Go with strength. Use that well.
Oh, right. Now my encounters are unknown. Oops. I didn't really think that through, did I? We're in 2024. Shove that in an in-game wiki. I don't care if I need to go through the wiki manually. Well, they definitely seem to be on the further end of like, ooh, like we want, you know, like we don't want there to be like too much being told in the game. Although I think the wiki, like stuff like a wiki or like a bestiary and stuff like that, like they said that would be cool. It's just like not a priority for them in terms of like developing it. You know, small to medium size indie company, etc., etc. Hidden TFT. Wait, TFT used to have hidden mechanics? Wait, what? How did I never know about this? What was hidden in TFT? That's insane. Dude, having hidden mechanics in a PvP game is insane. Really? Like different interactions and stuff? But is it more like a, well, this wasn't like completely intended, but it's kind of like a bug type thing that you can use to your advantage, like that type of thing? You know, like, is it like stacking mutalisks? Or is it like, hey, did you know the Bloodthirster always targets whichever enemy has like over 1500 health? Like, is it like that? Or that's like clearly intended and it just wasn't ever explained? I don't know if that was a good example, actually. That's crazy, actually. I mean, like I don't know, some parts where it's like, it's not necessarily by design, I can kind of see in a game like TFT, but one set that, oh wait, hold on. Ow, 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 ow. Hold on, one set that had the chosen mechanic, yeah, had an interaction wherein if you buy the chosen, it won't show up in the next 3 chosens, but the next one will share the trait. Wait, what? That's actually insane. Well, that sounds like it's either just poor coding or just not fair instructions. It's like that stuff that's like hard. Oh, I gotta run all the way back around. Oops. That's actually insane. Yeah. I mean, it almost feels like that is a poor implementation of like trying to give pseudo agency to the player about things that are meant to be random. Because I get not making it full random. Like I'm fine with that. I'm fine with, you know, giving pseudo agency for different randomization things. But it should be either like somewhat apparent, intuitive, or like very, very convoluted and well hidden. But that just sounds like it's straight up like... Here's a strat, by the way. That's crazy. Huh. No wonder I'm bad at TFT. I never, like, ever cared about any of that stuff. Not that I should be... Not that the only way to get good is to use it, but, like, the fact that I didn't even care or I never questioned it probably is a big reason why I never learn and improve in that game.
Relish your mortality.
Now there's an anomaly mechanic. Yeah, and it used to be forcible. Then they made it have a chance to repeat. Then Mort randomly tweeted out that, by the way, your first 12 anomalies won't repeat. What? Yeah, I see what you mean by you can interpret it different ways. Ah, man. I mean, but it does feel like this is a result of them, like, making a game that is fully based random, but, you know, you can't make it fully random. So now they're stuck in this weird loop. And then I'll either buy one or roll farm for the one for my Ascendancy, and then we'll see if it's with the nerfs and stuff, it's good enough to just burn through. Wait, YouTube is still up. That's not possible because the YouTube stream should be based on the Twitch stream. We are back.